We're back in open session, so we're gonna go back to finance and administration, and we're gonna go over the budget. Trustee Kraus.
So, I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing for proposed budget for fiscal year 24-25.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, roll call?
Kraus,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Do I have to wait for no one from the public to say anything, or? So, now can I talk about the salary and budget for the new position, Jeanette?
We can do anything in open session.
Just wanna check. So like we tried to discuss, if you go to, we're at 51, right? I saw. Yeah. So 51, 24, 21,
What page is it? Page
34.
Thank you.
I'm used to not using those because it's like page 34, but if you look at what it's written, it's like 41, so, page 34.
Okay. Fund 51.
51, 20, 41. The first one under expenses, salaries full-time,
Okay,
that's where we've added that line item.
gotcha.
So that's, like I said, the salary we discussed was 3,500 over the foreman.
Okay.
Obviously, if the board wants to change something, we'd have to amend that, but I mean, I would imagine that's reasonable. The way we are funding that is, so we figured out that the way we've been billing water is not accurate. There was the charge that wasn't added in 2021 when we changed the ordinance, that should have been. So we're going to change that to what I would say would be true billing. And that would cover what we talked about with the 25 to 50 cents. So that's where that revenue would come from, comes into that fund, and then we would use it in that fund. So, if you look in the budget, that 25, or that, it shows a 50-cent increase, but that will be 25, what it originally is, because we have already covered that with the change in the billing.
Okay.
So that will create the funds for the new assistant superintendent spot. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Otherwise, I think the budget is what we discussed at our budget workshop.
there are a few minor changes, nothing, just balancing out.
Yeah, I mean, we had to tweak some numbers.
Many,
Yeah, I mean, there's no significant changes, nothing in anybody's budget drastically changed, from the budget workshop. So, do you have anything else?
did add that, the sewer gearboxes, so that we had to add that, which we approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the sewer, that change.
May I ask a question? Early on in the budget process, there was question if the state was doing the roughly 150,000 grocery tax or not, and if they were holding that, we were gonna put some stuff in the budget that we may retract at a later time if we decided on, does the state made a decision if we're getting that money or not, or are we just?
We're hanging in limbo, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So anything that's in the budget though, that's
But
proposed tonight, that's approved, is
So-
approved then?
I wanna make sure you're asking this right, cause I either hearing it wrong or you're asking it.
Yeah.
It's not money they're going to give us, it's money we're currently getting that they're talking about taking away.
Right.
So,
Or just not giving us
So-
in the, yeah.
that money's budgeted in here. If they take it away, there's gonna be some reductions, not adding projects.
Right, that's what I'm asking. So
Yes.
is there certain earmarked stuff in the current budget that we know up front that we need to hold off on until a later date, later on, 6 months into the budget, to pull the trigger on some of these things that we would be removing, or are we?
No, what we talked about is after this budget was passed, sitting down and having some contingencies in each department.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Like, public safety's gonna be, if that money goes away, they'll be responsible for 30% of that. You know, water gets 10, like, whatever it is, we're
Okay.
gonna, I'd like to sit down and come up with some contingencies, like,
okay,
that's something more like, maybe, I mean, everything in here we need, but like maybe what's more a lesser need,
yeah,
that we can hold off on to maybe a different budget year, or see if
Okay.
that money comes through. So that was my plan going forward. This
Okay.
budget's been revised several times.
Yeah, and
A lot of
we've done,
emails and texts.
Well, that's what
and
I'm asking.
stuff,
That's-
So,
and we've done that in the past based on
Yeah.
Springfield, when we hear that maybe something's gonna be cut, it's like, all right, well, here's what we could hold
Yeah.
off on, it's not
Yeah.
urgent until we find out, you know, cause they haven't passed their budget yet, so
Yeah.
we have no idea what they're
Okay.
gonna do.
and
Understood.
there is some things I've looked in here, but as far as budget wise and funds, but I'm not gonna suggest that till I sit down and talk to you or the chief or like, till I make sure that's,
Understood.
my ideas are reality,
Okay,
that can be, because it might be somewhere else that you're like, no, I need this, but I can go without this.
okay,
So,
understood, thank you.
yeah, it's a process that's preliminary. Anybody else? Then I will make a motion to close the public hearing for the proposed budget for fiscal year 24-25.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, roll call?
Terry?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes. I'd like to consider a resolution number
2024-02.
02.
Yes.
Resolution 2024-02, adopting the budget for fiscal year 24-25.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call?
Kraus?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Ordinance number?
1405.
And I'd like to make a motion for ordinance number 1405 of appropriations in the same amount of authorization as contained in the fiscal 24-25 budget.
There's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, discussion, roll call?
Terry?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Kraus?
Yes.
Okay. I believe that's everything, is there any new business to come before the board? No? All right, we have a motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call?
Kraus?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Stacy?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.